Namaste, my friends, and welcome to Monday Morning Meditation. Our new tool for the toolbox today in our Monday morning meditation practice is Sky Mind. Just a different way to work through and refocus when we meditate. I like to call it another tool for the toolbox. Last week we talked about Ocean Mind. Today we're going to experiment a little bit with Sky Mind. So grab your bolster, grab your blanket or your sweatshirt and socks, maybe your mala if you want to meditate with your beads today, or we'll just sit in breath and in thoughts and in mantra. You choose. Maybe even a candle. I've got my candle going over here. Maybe you have a candle as well that you want to focus on and breathe. Any of those things that resonate with you today, bring them on back, have a seat and settle in, and let's investigate Sky Mind. Welcome to Monday morning meditation. Let's get ourselves seated comfortably, dressed for success. We're in comfy clothes to avoid the distraction that we can get when we feel uncomfortable. Maybe you have a pillow to sit on. For me, it's my bolster. Maybe you have comfy socks or a blanket. Find a quiet place. We want to be comfortable enough, but please avoid lying down. I find myself and a lot of my students find that lying down is more of a sleep motivator than it is a meditation motivator. Works for some people, but I would say statistically less people than the sitting up in a comfortable position. Over the last few weeks, we've been at this for 8 weeks. I find it hard to believe. We've experimented with a variety of breathing exercises or pranayama. We've done the long exhale, where our exhale is twice as long as our inhale. We've done the box breath, where we trace the top of the box on the inhale, maybe to a count of 4. Hold that breath in for 4. Exhale for that same count of 4 and hold the breath out for 4. We've also tried Ujjayi breath, also known as victorious breath, or Vader breath for you Star Wars fans, or I like to call it seashell breath. We've also done, what other ones do we do? Brahmari, which is the humming bee breath, and Sitkari, which is a cooling breath where we make an O shape with our mouth and the tongue is kind of like a U shape behind. So we inhale through the mouth. You feel that cool air come in on the mouth. We close the mouth and exhale through the nose. So I ask you to choose one of those right now. Find that comfy spot, settle in. I'm going to speak to you a little bit about Sky Mind while we breathe. So let's close down the eyes, sit tall, settle into your chosen breath. Feel it begin. And as we're settling in, I want to take a moment to review what we've accomplished to date in anchoring our awareness. We've explored our breath and different ways to control it, using various techniques to draw our attention back to the present moment. We've experienced classical mindfulness and meditation techniques focusing with breath. We've also introduced sound, candles, and beads as further anchoring tools for our awareness. Last week, we introduced witnessing, the concept of witnessing, using the Ocean Mind technique. Keeping in mind, with all of the above techniques, we can still experience our minds drifting to thinking, regardless of our chosen anchor. Doesn't matter if we use breath or if we use mantra or an object. The fact that we can be absorbed in thinking and also being aware enough to choose a response, we discovered by simultaneously focusing our mind, overseeing the process of focusing our mind, and redirecting our awareness when it drifts, we notice a part of us is aware of thoughts and feelings, but not swept away by them. This is how we observe or witness ourselves. Becoming the witness while we're meditating, we're more easily able to detach and spend less time rummaging around in our thoughts, going over and over and over the same thought in our heads. We suffer less and we enjoy a greater sense of clarity. There becomes larger gaps between our thoughts, not by avoiding or suppressing them, but with acceptance of them and deciding to move on and beyond them. Last week, our focus was ocean mind. We observe or witnessed our minds like the ocean. Our thoughts, shifting moods and sensations were the waves at the top. Become the surfer and rise to the board safely on top of the waves, or we can retreat to the bottom of the ocean, the quiet stillness of the bottom, and witness the thoughts above. Remember, be confident in your abilities and know you're in control. As we continue to improve our practice and skills, we're more easily able to choose our vantage point, calm the waves, and be at peace. So today, I would like to share an alternate option for witnessing. Today, we're going to try sky mind. The sky is another powerful analogy we can incorporate to help us understand the witnessing aspect of our awareness. Here we imagine our thoughts like clouds in the sky, always changing, floating by in unique shapes and sizes, sometimes big and heavy and gray and lingering, sometimes small and airy and fast moving. Sometimes there are hardly any clouds at all, and sometimes they move swiftly by. Other times they hang around. The interesting concept is different clouds will invariably blow in and blow out. It never stays the same. But the sky above that they travel around in stays the same. It remains untouched and ever present. The sky doesn't anticipate future clouds or chase after visible ones. It simply observes the ever-changing and unfolding display of clouds. It's perfect, it's clear, and it's a presence. Just like the witnessing mind. Take a moment to think about metacognition. We discussed this last week. It's actually the ability to think about our own process of thinking, knowing about knowing, cognition about cognition. In this next exercise, we'll continue to cultivate our metacognition skills. We're going to introduce noting. I like to think of them as little sticky notes. Noting is when we softly label our mind stuff. We apply a one-word label to whatever arises in our minds and distracts us from our chosen anchor. Using labels like memory, planning, fantasy, thinking can be helpful to take that little sticky note with whatever word you chose, plop it on that cloud and let it go. It's almost like you're filing it away for later. Let it float on by. This technique becomes most helpful when we find ourselves really caught up and involved in a particular thought or perhaps a set of thoughts. It allows us to then distance ourselves from those thoughts and redirect our awareness back to that focus. Perhaps our beads, perhaps our candle, perhaps we're just watching our breath. Maybe we're using a word, maybe we're using mantra. We return to that focus, to that practice. Thinking of this technique as an aid like training wheels on a bicycle is most helpful. We want to use it sparingly, and of course the ultimate goal is to not use it at all. But it's always a good idea to have many tools in the toolbox, right? So let's give it a try today. Let's mindfully end our current breathing technique, coming back to slow, even breaths in and out. Good. Now let's take a moment to readjust. We have been sitting for about 15 minutes. And if you were able to sit still for 15 minutes, 2 thumbs up for you. Because that is a bit of a challenge. You'll notice in a lot of beginner classes, or when you start doing something, you have to build up to that. So good for you if you were able to sit still for 15. Let's get resettled. Find again, maybe the same comfy spot or maybe another comfy spot. We're going to close the eyes again, gently, and move in our intention. Move into, our intention. 3 breaths, filling the abdomen on the inhale. So in through the chest all the way down to the abdomen, and on the exhale, let's slowly lower the belly first and then the chest, or soften the belly and then the chest. Inhale. Exhale. And one more time, inhale. And exhale. Now choose a favorite breath or mantra that we've tried over the past weeks. The quickest go-to for me is breath and mantra in my mind. I choose a word that I really want to aspire to today or feel surrounded and comforted by. So I'll choose that word. Today for me, the word will be peace. So I close my eyes. I'm breathing in through my nose, out through my nose. I chose my mouth there, sorry. In and out, regardless of where it goes in or where it goes out. And I keep repeating in that part of my mind, peace. That's my chosen technique. Maybe you have your beads today. Maybe you have a candle today. Maybe you just want to listen to your breath. Choose whatever one works for you at that time or right now. Settle in quietly, choosing a comfortable mantra and repeating it in the mind as you slowly breathe in and out. Here we are resting our awareness on our chosen anchor. Hands can be wherever they are most comfortable. Now, inevitably, our mind will get distracted or get caught up by distracting thoughts. Maybe an external experience, maybe a sound you weren't expecting came in and distracted you. Maybe a bodily sensation. Pause when you notice that happening. Acknowledge with the witnessing part of your mind. Acknowledge that that sensation or that thought is there. Imagine your witnessing self as the sky. Vast and expansive. From this great, expansive, and safe place, look towards that distraction or those ever-changing thoughts or that one thing that popped into your mind. As if they were passing clouds. It's just floating by. Here and now, we're considering that. What was I going to say? I'm sorry. We're considering that it's happening at the surface of the mind or on those clouds. And we're going to use this noting technique. Take that sticky note, put it on the cloud. Whatever that thought reminds you of, or however you want to note it, let it float by. Perhaps we use the generic term, mind stuff. It's easy, it's accessible, it's quick. Or thinking, also a good word. Maybe go deeper, go more specific. Whatever makes you feel as satisfied that you have labeled it and let it go. Maybe we use memory or planning, but just let it be and let it go. Gently redirect yourself back to your mantra, your meditation, your focus. For me, I am back to peace. 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 Back to whatever your chosen form of meditation is for today. Each time the thoughts come up, picture them as one of those clouds. Label it and let it float away. Don't fuss over it. Just label it and let it float away. Even if the label sucks, it doesn't matter. Label it. Let it float away. Observe, label, let them go. We are just here to notice. Now let's take a few moments to expand our awareness away from our breath or away from our chosen anchor. Let's slowly engage in the room around you, grounding with the sounds of your space around you. The feeling of your tush on the mat, bolster or your pillow. Perhaps if you're like me, there's a blanket in your lap. Can you feel that blanket on your body? When you feel as though you are back in the room, let's slowly drop the head, open the eyes, and come back up. Welcome back. I'm hoping that you found this new technique, another tool for the box, helpful. Maybe you prefer last week's technique. Maybe you are super good at it and you can just stay right in that meditation. Awesome. I'm so glad you came by to join me. For this week, I can't believe that we made it already to 8 weeks of meditation and we've experienced a variety of options. I'm hopeful that you found a favorite and some time each day to possibly sit in a quiet place, walk and breathe. Take that screen break from the computer and sit in silence with your chosen anchor, even if it's for a minute. Take a time, sit for a few minutes. Everything will be there when you get back. Even take 5 deep breaths when you feel anxious. perhaps use the autopilot while doing your laundry or your tasks. We talked about that, I think it was last week or a couple weeks ago. When you do things that we do over and over and over and over and over again, stick that mantra in there. Be aware of each part of that task. Be present. What's the word I'm looking for? You're investigating. You're experiencing it like it's the first time. Every single part. The feeling of your clothes as you do the laundry. The feeling of the bottle of laundry soap. Perhaps if you're sweeping, the feel of the broom, the feel of the dustpan, the action of sweeping. There's so many things that we just do on autopilot that it would be so awesome to take that time to rediscover them. Plus, it helps us with our focus and toning our focus and keeping it on one thing. Now, to close our meditation today, let's bring our hands together. Thumbs at heart center, pressing into the sternum. Deep breath in, fill the lungs with fresh energy and prana. And exhale and relax. Namaste, my friends. I offer you peace. I offer you love. I offer you friendship. I see your beauty. I hear your need. I feel your feelings. My wisdom flows from the highest source. I salute that source in you. Let us work together for unity and love. Mahatma Gandhi. I love that one. Have a wonderful week, my friends, and I hope to see you. I'm not sure if we're going to do meditation next week. That would be the week before the holidays. We'll see. We'll see. If not, I'll see you back in the new year. Have a great week, my friends. Namaste from Kathleen Osmond and Monday Morning Meditation.